welcome you to the Paradise Coast, where a pair of sides looking to solidify top four positioning lock horns on the penultimate match day of the USL League One season. It is Spokane making the 3,000-mile journey from coast to coast to take on a Naples side that is red hot on their home ground. Tonight's match presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Care for every goal. Sam Goldfarb here, thrilled to bring you all of the action here from Naples as you get your look at the standings presented by WM. A pair of sides that are neck and neck in the USL League One table. As things stand, Spokane can lock up a home quarterfinal match with 3 points here tonight. FC Naples, meanwhile, looking to establish separation from Union Omaha and Portland Hearts of Pine with 3 points of their own. Massive stakes here this evening. And when you look at the recent form of these two sides, a little rocky for both. An FC Naples squad that has dropped 3 of its last 4 matches, all of which have come on the road. The only victory on this home ground against AB Alta 3 weeks ago. A Spokane side that has started to stabilize, but still only 3 goals scored in the last 4 matches. It is the second and final meeting of the year between these two clubs, the first of which was a Naples triumph in late March. Carson Henderlong against the grain of play just after halftime, putting Naples in front to continue what was a red-hot start to the season and produce a massive 3 points in hostile territory. And unsurprisingly, our player to watch tonight, presented by Parker Hudson Holmes, is that man who scored the last time these two teams met. Carson Henderlong, third in the Golden Boot race with 12 goals to his name, but he needs to lead Naples back onto proper goal-scoring footing after Naples has managed just 1 goal in their last 2 matches. He is the key man to watch up top for the hosts. His opposite number is also the player to watch for Spokane Velocity, presented by Parker Hudson Holmes. It is the veteran Nico Brett, who has stepped in for Anwar Pelayas up top as he works his way back to full strength. A talented goal scorer in his own right, though, the second all-time leading USL Championship goal scorer at the time of his signing with Spokane this winter. We are just about set for a crucial top 4 6-pointer here in Naples. It is Spokane looking to lock up a home playoff match. It is Naples looking to keep pace in the top 4 race. Stick with us, lineups and kickoff when we return from the Paradise Coast.
Hey, same shirt.
Is it?
Well, yours is new, obviously.
It only looks new. That's because he takes it to Tide Cleaners, where we keep clothes looking newer 50% longer. At Tide Cleaners, we care about your clothes as much as you do.
How's it look?
Newer 50% longer.
Awesome.
Hey, same order.
Head to my.tidecleaners.com to get started.
Luxury isn't just about where you live, it's about how you live. At Parker Hudson Homes, we craft bespoke residences where elegance meets effortless comfort. From custom builds to refined remodels, every detail is designed around you, your style, your vision, your way of living. Create a home that's truly yours and discover Parker Hudson Homes today.
Here on Florida's Paradise Coast, you can play your way. Whether you prefer an action-packed court, a leisurely round of golf, or the thrill of watching a professional soccer match, your only challenge is finding a way to do it all. So visit a luxurious playground that scores big for everything from its award-winning beaches to its incredible restaurants. Because when you want a vacation where all is perfect, only Paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades.
We welcome you back to Naples, where today's starting lineups are brought to you by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. big enough to handle serious cases, small enough to care. Here is your look at Matt Poland's 11, and no changes from the Snowbird Derby defeat on Sunday against Westchester. This is his tried and true 11. Carson Henderlong, of course, the headliner up top, and then the experienced center back duo of Breck Evans and Jake Dengler locking things down. Keep your eye on Chris Heckenberg, who is one of the better holding midfielders in USL League One. On the opposite end of things for Lee Wiedman, in his second season, he makes 2 changes from what was a 1-1 draw against Tormenta last Saturday night. Nico Brett still leads the line. Pierre Reedy in the 11 for the second straight match. Bryce Meredith, though, makes just his second league start of the season in the center of the park. He starts in place of Colin Fernandez, who is not in the squad tonight. Just about ready to get things underway here from the Paradise Coast. It is an FC Naples side that has experienced a rocky run of form by its lofty standards, but it returns to their home patch where they have been a fortress all year long. It is a Spokane side that makes the journey out east, hoping to play spoiler in Naples' quest to lock up a home field playoff match on this very ground in 2 weeks' time. We await our official signal here from Paradise Coast Sports Complex. Rashawn Clark oversees all of the action. It is Naples from right to left on your screen in the blue with the white numbers. It is Spokane in their white kits with the blue accents and numbers from left to right. Massive 6-pointer here in USL League One. One of these two sides by the end of the evening may have the inside track on a top 4 finish. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. This one should be a fun one. Just the second meeting of the year between these two sides, but both sides look very different. Lee Wiedman, the head coach of Spokane Velocity, told me this week they can take very little from that. Both teams look very different to the last time they met in terms of on-pitch execution. Heckenberg sprays wide here to Andres Farid. Cross comes in. Marancio collects for Spokane. Well, there is your look at Carlos Marancio, who's been the mainstay between the sticks all year long for Spokane Velocity. Someone who boasts one of the better save rates in the entire league. His confidence through the roof after being dropped around the midway point in favor of Brooks Thompson last season. It'll be a tough nut to crack, especially for the Spokane side that kept a clean sheet 2 weeks ago at Charlotte despite being a man down for 60 minutes. O'Connor. Headed back to Marancio. I'm talking to Lee Wiedman this week. He mentioned how after being dropped for Brooks Thompson, Marancio was continuing to push on, trying to break into the side last year. And this season spent so much time working on his all-around craft and has turned into one of the more consistent goalkeeping presences in the league. It's been an impressive story of all-around development from last year to this one. So Parra has this knocked out of play. And that's his first corner on the way.
Corner kick for Spokane, brought to you by Anderson. Trust your home.
Well, corner kicks tonight presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. And inside the opening 3 minutes, Spokane with a chance to threaten from a set piece. Derek Waldeck is known to whip a dangerous delivery or two into the area. And it is these in-swinging balls that can ask so many questions of the defense. Arcs towards the near post. It's headed away along the goal line by Henderlong. They're only as far as Derek Waldeck, though. Onan. So dangerous in the open field. Looks for Henderlong. Can't quite catch up to it. And this is one back by Onan. Just about cleaned up by Siobhan John Brown, who's deployed in a wing-back role this evening. An interesting shift for Lee Wiedemann. Into a back five after playing a 4 for large spells. Not to mention the introduction of Bryce Meredith to the 11. Takes the place of Colin Fernandez, who's regarded very highly amongst the Spokane coaching staff. O'Connor. Onan. One of the more dynamic players going forward in the entire league. He's the key to this Naples transition-based style that has yielded so many goals, although this could be a costly giveaway. There's Brett. Heckenberg cleans it up. Well, fans, the injury report is presented by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro, big enough to handle serious cases, small enough to care. And good news for both clubs. No official injuries reported, although Ian Cerro is not in the squad for Naples. And Colin Fernandez is not either, which could be a bad omen for a Spokane side that plays its final 3 matches in the next week all away from home. Farine. It's dispossessed by Waldeck. USL League One veteran at this stage. Now it's time for our keys to the match. Presented by Florida's Paradise Coast. For Naples, clinical finishing is key. It is a Naples side that struggled to create a week ago at Westchester, but 2 weeks back created their highest single game XG of the year. And they still fell 2-1 at Omaha, so taking their chances will be imperative. It's a Spokane side that should have a lot of the ball. The key is, can they pick apart one of the more ironclad back lines in the division? Early set piece here for Naples. Heckenberg and O'Connor have been the go-tos from these scenarios all year long. It is O'Connor who drives it towards the back post, just beyond the reach of Jake Dangler, who was lingering menacingly. You see this ball arc in, plenty of altitude to it, just beyond Jake Dangler, who was right there. Had he been able to reach it, that would have proven problematic for Morancio. Well, it is no secret that, given Naples' consistency all year long, this recent stretch has been far from ideal, especially at this time of the season. 3 defeats in the last 4, the only victory in that span coming on this very ground against AB Alta 3 weeks back. Matt Pullen mentioning that last week in particular was frustrating because he felt like almost everyone on the pitch didn't perform within their typical performance range. He said he feels in many respects it was an outlier performance, the 2-0 defeat at Westchester, in which they were uncharacteristically sloppy across the board. Says that it's key to not make that a trend, but also can't make a mountain out of a molehill based on that performance. He is just refocusing for these final 2 fixtures, both of which are on home soil, taking care of the business that will allow them to secure a home playoff match. You look at the way the table has shaken out, they are still in full control of their destiny, especially with Portland dropping points against Westchester moments ago. Reyes can't thread this through to Onan. Now Brett, who plays it forward to Siobhan John Brown in space. And now he's through on goal and cleared off the line by Dangler, who catches up to it in plenty of time.
Corner kick for Spokane, brought to you by Anderson.
Well, there is the pace at which Spokane can break. You see Brett play the role of facilitator. Siobhan John Brown bearing down on goal. Would have been a well-placed finish had Dangler not been there to knock it away. And already another corner for Velocity. Another corner kick presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. And another chance for Derek Waldeck to test this Naples back line, which is one of the best at aerial duels in the entire league. Waldeck right in front of Labara 239. Again to the near post. Doesn't clear Cisneros. Back out for Waldeck. Pings it well over the bar.
Goal kick, FC Naples.
Well, fans, FC Naples has only one home game remaining in the regular season, and it is a massive one. Come out to the Paradise Coast Sports Complex next Saturday, October 25th, as they take on Charlotte Independence. Get your tickets now before they run out. 10 minutes into this one, a six-pointer inside the top four between FC Naples and Spokane Velocity. Spokane, as we mentioned off the top, they can clinch a home field quarterfinal match with 3 points here. FC Naples, meanwhile, with Portland dropping points, they would clinch if they win, and Omaha also failed to win. They're playing Ford Madison in the Bird Battle as we speak. There's no score in that fixture. So if you're Naples, you can eliminate all jeopardy before the final day, which I'm sure they'd prefer. Spokane has plenty of motives of their own. This is Glasser. Heckenberg. Andres Farine. Nearly snatches this back off of Waldeck. Glasser. O'Connor continues his run, and he is well offside. What a year it has been for FC Naples, and that man a large part of their success. Matt Poland, his first year at the helm of this first-year expansion club, someone who's been based out of Marco Island for the better part of a decade. He's spoken about how much pride he takes in this club's success in not only bringing competitive football to this area, but bringing football worthy of a title. Speaking to him this week, he's mentioned that it has not been an ideal stretch by any means, but they continue to have everything they want in front of them. 6 points from 6 would be more than enough at this point for them to lock up a home field playoff match and put a lot of their road woes on the back burner. When you compare their home and away stats this year, getting a home field match in the quarterfinals and potentially beyond does feel imperative. A team that scores far more on home soil and is far more secure defensively as well. Siobhan John Brown. Lewis. Ushered wide to Lucky Oprah. Experienced fixture of this competition for 3 years. John Brown again. We we talked to Matt Pullen this week, he also spoke about the importance of unlocking their best selves. So much of preparing for a match isn't just about scouting your opponent, although obviously that is key. It's about ensuring that you can execute your match model to the best of your ability each week. And with Naples, it is a distinct style. They're not hiding much tactically. It's one that is built on its obdurate back line and is so free-flowing on the break. He has spoken about fine-tuning a few things in possession to ensure there are chances the other way. You know, Lee Wiedman, one of the most tactically advanced managers in the division. His second year at the helm of Spokane Velocity, of course, last season, guiding this club as a 7 seed to the USL League One final after back-to-back upset playoff victories away from home against Northern Colorado, and then the dramatic shootout triumph at Ford Madison in the semis. He's mentioned to me this week the only thing holding them back in his eyes has been finishing. They've been creating enough to win matches over a slightly more up and down period to close the year, and now it's about taking those chances. There's a flick on header towards Henderlong. Garcia gives chase. Come back to the earlier transgression anyways. Torres, Loyola Chicago Rambler, himself and Julian Cisneros, two representatives of the school. Here's Meredith. It is an interesting conversation point when you think about the finishing metrics for Spokane. Early in the year, got off to a pretty fiery start. It is a team that has managed just the joint 10th most goals in League One with 37. And when you compare that to their XG of nearly 44, it is a pretty glaring disparity, it must be said. One of the higher ones in the division. It is a side that is pretty tactically versatile, can knock it about when they so choose, but also have the ability to play a deeper lying counter-based style, as was evident in their victory over Charlotte. This is threaded through towards Onan, broken up very well. Whistle sounds against Naples anyway. Onan is slow to return to his feet. It's a mildly concerning sight because he's not far off of his recovery from a prolonged injury absence. One of the more exciting players on the wings in the league, and you see just clattered us into David Garcia. Certainly not much menace in it. He's left Onan prone on the pitch for now. There will be plenty for him to consider tactically if Jaden Onan is unable to continue. It is a bench with a few options, but Onan is definitely his preferred presence, especially on that right-hand side. And he seems content to keep going, which is a welcome sight for everyone. Well, fans, the USL and the CBS Sports Network closes out October with a championship Western Conference showdown. Playoff-bound New Mexico United take on Oakland Roots SC Sunday, October 19th at 5 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. Just shy of 20 minutes into this one, and nothing to separate FC Naples and Spokane Velocity. Second and final meeting of the year between these two clubs, the first of which a narrowly contested 1-0 victory at One Spokane Stadium for FC Naples. As Delgado awkwardly off his line, and it is kept in play, only momentarily though. He's starting to ask questions, Siobhan John Brown. And Spokane's only major chance of the match, just shy of 10 minutes in. That was cleared off the line. Beginning to see the width and pace he's able to offer, especially in the open field. Farine. Always a threat whenever he steps on it. O'Connor picks out Teray as well. Clever back heel. Farine doesn't reach the quarter of uncertainty, but that was eye-catching from the host. Farine's cross, and this is right at Marancio, who actually nearly spilled it out of play. For all the recent ups and downs of Naples, it hasn't exactly been the smoothest of sledding for Spokane Velocity either. Just 2 wins in the last 8 after such a red-hot start to the season in which they lost 1 official match through the first 4 months of the year. Since then, slight ups and downs since, but they still have played at a level reminiscent of one of the best teams in the division. As this cross doesn't quite reach the back post. Falls to the edge of the area, and Reedy had to do much better with that.
Goal kick, FC Naples.
Talking to Lee Wiedemann, though, he's mentioned that in the last 2 games where they've been able to claim 4 points and produce that resilient display at Charlotte 2 weeks back, says the defensive effort has improved, and ultimately they do boast the league's best back line with just 24 goals allowed in league play this year. Getting back to their roots to escort results over the line at the key juncture of the campaign. Heckenberg. We still have yet to see this one heat up. Spokane with 1 major chance of note. Naples enjoyed the bulk of the ball in dangerous spots so far. There's Henderlong. Oprah's there to break up the pass to Cisneros. Have yet to see number 9 truly calibrate in this one. Fans watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish-language sports network. Charleston Battery take on Birmingham Legion FC on Saturday, October 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern on 2DN. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Lewis. Out wide is Siobhan John Brown. Low cross in and stabbed away for security by Breck Evans. Cues up a potential long throw situation for Spokane. seen this work its way back into the game over the last year or so. Far more reliance on these makeshift set pieces. Here comes the long throw. Nearly fell for Lewis. Instead, Farine with runway. And a tussle with Siobhan John Brown. Can't quite thread it through to Glasser. We're seeing the ideas for Naples, though, where they can get in the open field. That is when they pose so many dangers. We are midway through this first half. Sam Goldfarb taking you every step of the way from Paradise Coast Sports Complex. Near 5,000 seat venue on the outskirts of downtown Naples, right in the city gate development. A number of hotels being constructed in the area. The athletic fields will be at the center of this complex. It is set to be an exciting new area of the city. And it already has life, with Naples boasting one of the better home pitch advantages in USL League One. Connor not on the same wavelength as Farine there. When you look at the numbers for Naples at home this season, it is remarkable. And it did help that a good chunk of their matches were at home to begin the year. But unbeaten in their last 7 on home soil, they are 9-2-4 on their home patch this year. Have not suffered a home defeat in quite some time, last of which was in the Jägermeister Cup against Tampa Bay in early July. Waldeck. Reedy. Rare touch for him thus far. Yet to see Reedy or Luisio work their way into things. Direct here. And this is Reedy. Linking with Waldeck. Brett. This is Garcia joining the attack. Oprah. As far as Garcia, part of one of the higher scoring center back duos in the entire league. Cameron Miller, his counterpart, not in the 11 this evening though. Brett. Playing the role of connector. Cross comes in from Oprah. Overcooked for everyone at the back stick. Kept in play by Lewis, though. This far less inviting.
Goal kick, FC Naples.
We've spoken so much about Carlos Marancio. His opposite number is one of the more consistent goalkeepers in the entire league in Lalo Delgado. 27 years of age, someone who was an all-league second-team selection with Northern Colorado Hailstorm a year ago, a year removed from setting the single-season clean sheet record in 2023. It is a record that Jason Smith is one away from tying at the moment. Lalo Delgado, the save numbers don't always pop, but strong when called upon. This is Cisneros. And plenty of space. Again, unable to get Henderlong involved in the build. Matt Pullen this week mentioned a lot about when Naples is in possession, sending more runners in behind that back line. He said it's all well and good to want to play with the ball at your feet, but if you're not stretching the back line and challenging them, it allows them to sit in a uniform manner and make things rather difficult for you in a lower block. Set against Westchester, they had major issues picking apart that Golden Apple backline because they weren't daring enough in possession. Maybe that could have been in part due to the way they started. So slow out of the blocks in that fixture, and it set the tone for the majority of those 90 minutes. Of course, it wasn't until those 2 goals flew in 10 minutes apart in the second half, in which their fate was sealed, but never really felt like their day 6 nights ago. Henderlong. Cisneros. He's grown into one of the more sure-footed fullbacks in USL League One the last couple months. Known for an occasional banger as well. Now O'Connor. Cisneros. Torres. O'Connor again has a dangerous cross in him. Instead links well with Cisneros. Whips it to the back post. Onan runs it down. It's one of the better extended spells for the host thus far. And they've broken lines. Glasser. That's inviting, it's dangerous, off the post, and somehow doesn't clear the line. With Naples throwing the first warning shot. Chance may not be lost just yet. Cisneros. Driving at Siobhan John Brown. Torres. Now you see that boldness that Matt Pullen was hoping for in possession. Starting to really knock it about with confidence. Onan. Cisneros again. Another appetizing ball. This time doesn't clear the first line though. Luis Hill will track it down for Spokane, only momentarily. Glasser. Return ball from Farid is well off the mark, but moments ago, Naples inches from drawing first blood. You see Dengler break the line with his pass. It's a low cross that falls right back for Glasser, and the second ball, so much more appetizing. Dengler getting his head to it and just kissing it off that last post. That is bending slightly less wide. That may kiss off the inside of the post and go in. Instead, Naples still staring at a scoreless scoreline. That is a chance that they simply didn't create a week ago at Westchester. Well, it always hasn't always been the cleanest thus far. They've started to show more confidence in possession especially. Meredith. Waldeck. 1-2 with Heel. Clipped by Farine, and that will draw a referee's ire. Yellow card shown to Andres Farine, first man in the book for either side.
Card has been issued to FC Naples number 23, Andres Farine. This yellow card brought to you by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro.
Not the best of challenges. It's the slight shove with the forearm, which draws the referee's attention. Certainly unnecessary. And Andres Farine, the 24-year-old out of Colombia, pays the price. Sets up Spokane with an opportunity they haven't had for the better part of the last 15-20 minutes. Naples has started to establish more of a vice grip on this. Heel. Underwhelming delivery in the end. It does fall kindly to the edge of the area. Garcia letting it run out for a corner.
Corner kick for Spokane is brought to you by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson.
Another corner kick presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. Third of the night for Spokane. The first time we see Luis Heel stand over a set piece of note. He is one of the more dangerous dead ball specialists in the league. Hooks in with in swing. Headed away by Dangler. Run down well though by Oprah. We've already showed you those standings off the top. Both these teams clearly in the playoffs by this stage. Naples clinching on the final weekend of September. Spokane doing so around the same time of year. So they've known they will be playing in November for quite some time. But now the mission has been locking down a home quarterfinal match and potentially beyond. Spokane, meanwhile, they know if they claim 9 from 9. Remember, they have a makeup against Portland on Tuesday night. They'd be in position to contend for the Players' Shield, which is something they were certainly chasing around the early and mid-summer, but after a slight drop-off around late July, early August, those expectations tempered slightly. Still with so much to play for, though. Even if it's not the Players' Shield, you finish second, you're potentially hosting all the way through if the Players' Shield winner gets picked off in the playoffs. It's not long, owning onto it. Heavy touch right into the path of Garcia, though. Final 10 minutes of this first half. Aside from the Dangler chance, not much to write home about thus far. Well, Fan Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. It is a slightly cagey one here. Look at the numbers. Both teams under 0.2 XG created in this first half thus far. Only one shot on goal was cleared off the line by Dangler and didn't really have the venom from Javon John Brown. That, of course, doesn't take into account the Dangler header that kissed off the left post. It is an interesting conclusion to this season in store for especially Spokane. We hinted at it earlier. Their final 3 matches, all of which occur in a week span starting tonight, away from home. So Lee Wiedman having to pick his squad for those 3 games rather early. And it is a squad that does not include Colin Fernandez, who has been a regular in midfield for the bulk of the year. Fareen's cross, well beyond Henderlong. You look at the quality of fixture as well. None of them are clear-cut points on paper for Spokane. They head to Portland, decide that we'll be desperate to not only wrap up a playoff berth, but keep themselves distantly in home field contention. And then on the final day, away at Omaha, which is by no means straightforward with the way Los Bujos are playing right now either. Naples slightly more favorable, albeit they don't have a game in hand like Spokane does. Heel. Onan nearly catches up to this and continuing to cause problems for the opposing back line. He is so exciting to watch, and when you think about his tenure in USL League One, maybe more up and down despite his proud pedigree as someone who used to play in the Reading Academy, the QPR academies as well. In 2023, a Young Player of the Year nominee with Ford Madison, made that big money move to Lexington last offseason and dealt with injury troubles that limited him all season long. This year, a resurgence. 6 goals in league play, 7 in all comps. And despite still battling some on and off injury trouble, has been far more available than last year. It's a big part of Matt Poland's recruitment strategy. Someone who fancies himself on bringing in players who have something to prove in this league. Doesn't necessarily have to be players like Onan who have experience in League One either. He just looks for guys with chips on their shoulder. Players who will put in a work rate defensively especially, and are not afraid to play with an edge. Jaden Onan is one of many who maybe fell into the overlooked category during his time with Lexington through no fault of his own, and has re-announced himself this season with Naples. John Brown pokes this wide to Lucky Oprah, who's been one of the more heralded defenders in this league for the last 3 years. "40 minutes gone. Still nothing to separate these two sides in a 6-pointer that could define the state of the top 4 come evening's end. This is Torres for Naples. Glasser. Sensational ball forward towards Farine, who does keep it in play. And now driving at Waldeck. Darts to the byline. Cross deflected harmlessly back to Marancio, though. Naples has yet to truly win that foot race to the touchline to play in these low crosses. That is where Henderlong can feast most. It's not been the open transitional match that Matt Poland was hoping for thus far. Talking to Lee Wiedemann, he knows how to manage games around this time of year. Last season, of course, the run to the final included 2 victories, or a penalty shootout victory and a regular time victory away from home against sides that wanted to play more open attacking styles. He said in games come October and November, they are more open, they are more transitional, and we know how to manage that just due to the critical mass of players from that final team a year ago that have returned. Not to mention that he's brought in so many high-profile additions as well. This is forward to Meredith. Knocks it across goal. Not dealt with properly by Delgado. Stabbed away by Cisneros, though. Reedy out wide again and deflected out for yet another Spokane corner.
Corner kick for Spokane, brought to you by Anderson.
Well, another corner kick presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. Spokane with every corner of the match thus far. Yet to see Naples queue up one of their patented set pieces yet. More target practice for Luis Gil, a 31-year-old former U.S. men's national team selection. Over 130 career MLS appearances in his locker. He arcs it in, punched away by Delgado. Lewis. Wide for Heel again. Takes on Glasser. Appetizing ball. Falls for Siobhan John Brown. That one headed over the bar.
Goal kick, FC Naples.
Well, fans, FC Naples has only one home game remaining in the regular season, and it is a massive one. Come out to Paradise Coast Sports Complex next Saturday, October 25th, as they take on Charlotte Independence. Get your tickets now before they run out. Labada 239 in full force, as they tend to be here at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex. When you think about expansion clubs in this year's USL League One, Naples stands out as one of the better support groups and better home atmospheres in the competition. If you didn't know they were a first-year club with the equity they've built up, you'd be forgiven for maybe not recognizing that. Vereen. O'Connor. Not a bad cross, but no one there to greet it. Final minute of the initial 45. Still waiting on one of these two sides to throw the first blow in this one. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. Is one that catches the eye on paper. We're waiting for one of these two squads to open it up. Stoppage time tonight, presented by Tide Cleaners, and it is just 2 minutes of added time.
There will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time in the first half. Added time presented by Classic Diamond Plumbing.
Henderlong picks this up in a rare bit of space. Can't thread it through to Vereen. Had his brightest chance to truly influence the match, at least to date. Final minute now of the added 2. This likely Spokane's final sojourn forward. Meredith launches it long. Pierre Reedy may have been offside. Well, there is the halftime whistle. Nothing to separate these two squads after 45 minutes and change. One major chance either way turned away. The early opportunity for Siobhan John Brown that was cleared off the line, and the left post of Carlos Sperancio's goal to deny a towering header from Jake Tangler. But as things stand, 0-0 the scoreline in a match where chances are at a premium. Well, it is a cagey one through 45 minutes with both teams not wanting to give away that first blow. The question is, can one of these two sides draw first blood in the second half? Stick with us when we return. A look at FC Naples inside the club. Halftime presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. We will step aside and be back in a matter of moments. once again to the near post, and it's Henderlong again. He is a set-piece madman.
More tables, more entertainment, more slots, more fun. More than you expected. There's more in paradise at Seminole Casino Hotel in Immokalee.
We welcome you back to the Paradise Coast Sports Complex in Naples, where halftime is brought to you by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Care for every goal. It's time to get a look at inside FC Naples and get an inside perspective on Matt Poland's thoughts with the latest edition of the Extra Time podcast.
And welcome into Extra Time, a weekly video podcast with Fox 4 and FC Naples, where we take you behind the scenes every week for the first season of professional soccer here in Southwest Florida. I'm Ryan Kruger. I got the memo. We're rocking pink this weekend. We're raising money for breast cancer awareness. And more importantly, FC Naples down to their final 2 matches before the playoffs. We got a whole lot to talk about. Here's the gaffa.
At the end of the day right now, the home playoff or not is still fully in our control. And to have that type of results this far into the season with 2 games left to go, that we still control our own destiny, is an incredible thing. Obviously, we love playing at home, but playing at home doesn't guarantee a result. We still have to go out and do the work.
Yeah, and both teams, you're in that 3 and 4 spot, so you're both really trying to hold on for that spot. So I don't imagine anyone's going to be coasting in this match, certainly.
No. Right now, the table is so tight for so many teams. No one really can afford to take any games lightly at this point. So, yeah, it makes for, as a fan, a really exciting last couple weeks of the regular season.
And then let's talk about sort of the future of USL. It was announced this week that Port St. Lucie is going to have a team, and it sounds right now they're going to be playing in League One. So you got a rival now, just a couple hours away. More expansion in soccer. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, growth for the game in the U.S. is incredible. For Florida, it's great if we keep adding some teams. Makes for better rivals when you can have fans from both teams drive to the other stadium. Makes the game experience, the atmosphere that much better. So anytime teams in Florida are being announced, it's a good thing for us, and it forces every team to continue to grow, continue to push itself, and for the fans, it really makes it fun. So hopefully everything works out for them and they get up and running, and it's another great rivalry we can have in Florida. So you have fans from both sides, and once you have, it's great in your own home atmosphere to have fans cheering you on, and it's great being at an away game and having away fans giving you a hard time. But when it's both fan bases in the same stadium and there's the players competing on the field, and then there's the coaches competing on the sideline, and then you have the fans competing in the stands.
Join us every week.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
Hey, same shirt.
Is it?
Well, yours is new, obviously.
It only looks new. That's because he takes it to Tide Cleaners, where we keep clothes looking newer 50% longer. At Tide Cleaners, we care about your clothes as much as you do.
How's it look?
Newer 50% longer.
Awesome.
Hey, same order.
Head to my.tidecleaners.com to get started.
We welcome back to Naples, and we're at halftime, presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. There is no score in this top 4 battle between FC Naples and Spokane Velocity. It's time to get a look around USL League One, starting with the standout news and notes of the week here in the competition. And when you look at the news and notes, Ayman Zayed is back. He is now the head man of Corpus Christi FC, a club joining USL League One next year. Speaking of clubs joining the league, how about Port St. Lucie, set to join the competition in 2027? And finally, Javier Garcia continuing to make history, making his 6th penalty kick save. That set a USL League One single season and overall record. What a performance it has been for Garcia from 12 yards. In terms of the scores, this is where things get interesting. Presented by Ave Maria, a big kind of small town. How about this? In terms of Naples, right now in the live table, they would be 5th because Union Omaha leads forward Madison in the Bird battle. That would be a devastating setback for a Madison side looking to keep themselves in playoff contention. Meanwhile, Greenville, they are trailing against South Georgia Tormenta. Again, that would be a brutal blow. In fact, it would be a fatal blow for Greenville if they cannot turn this around and get 3 points. In terms of our remaining schedules for both these clubs, we are at the tail end of the season. The remaining schedules presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Just 1 match left for FC Naples. We spoke about it. It is against a playoff hopeful in Charlotte Independence. Naples will be playing a side that knows it likely needs a result to continue to remain inside the top 8 come the end of the season. Meanwhile, 2 games remaining for Spokane. If they win tonight, they would lock up home field, but they have 2 further chances to do just that. A 6-pointer at Portland on Tuesday before rounding out their season at Red Hot Union Omaha next Saturday. Those the upcoming schedules for these remaining 2 clubs. When you look at the live table as things stand, this is where things get interesting because Omaha is leading. They would go above FC Naples ahead of the final day on a wins tiebreaker. That, of course, is if both results hold. Meanwhile, Spokane on that front would be in a prime position to lock up home field advantage. They wouldn't officially do it, but they would be in a strong position to do so. That your look at the standings presented by WM. In terms of our team of the week for week 32, not too many familiar faces from this match, but Luis Heel does crack the team of the week after scoring a penalty kick equalizer last weekend, against Tormenta. Matt Glazer, the coach of the week after a 2-1 victory over Chattanooga Red Wolves, and then surprisingly some representation from Fort Madison in the squad as well. That is your look around USL League One. When we return, a look back at the first half from the Paradise Coast. Stick with us here on ESPN+.
The more you explore Florida's Paradise Coast, the more it becomes clear. With 30 miles of soft, white sands, all is beachy in paradise. With endless outdoor adventures waiting for you, all is exciting in paradise. And with award-winning restaurants eager to wow you, all is delicious in paradise. So plan your visit soon, because if you want a getaway where all is perfect, only paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades.
Luxury isn't just about where you live, it's about how you live. At Parker Hudson Homes, we craft bespoke residences where elegance meets effortless comfort. From custom builds to refined remodels, every detail is designed around you, your style, your vision, your way of living. Create a home that's truly yours and discover Parker Hudson Homes today.
More tables, more entertainment, more slots, more fun. More than you expected. There's more in paradise at Seminole Casino Hotel, Immokalee.
We welcome you back to the Paradise Coast, where we get a look at the first half highlights presented by Lake Park Diner. Not a lot in this, chances few and far between, but Spokane did create the first one of note. Siobhan John Brown threw on goal before Jake Dengler was there to clear it off the line. Had there not been a defender in the vicinity, that probably goes into the back of the net, but not enough velocity to beat Jake Dengler in the foot race. Then later on in the first half, Spokane would continue to threaten some decent half chances. From here on out, you see the Siobhan John Brown cross is inviting, stabbed away for a corner. There were a number of decent progressions from Spokane into the final third, but very little to show for it other than the one chance we showed you moments ago. For Naples, little to write home about going forward despite positive moments in possession, but this one of the bigger moments of the first half. Jake Dengler starting the move and continuing his run after the first cross turned away. The second ball from Glasser is far more dangerous, and Dengler nodding it right off of the left post. That the closest either side came to opening the scoring in the opening 45 minutes. In terms of our halftime stats presented by Arthrex, does an injury have you benched? Explore orthopedic treatment options at orthopedia.com, powered by Arthrex. Slight possession edge for Spokane, although it felt like Naples had the ball in better areas at key moments of the first half, but no shots on goal for FC Naples, just one for Spokane. That is the story of the first half, a cagey affair in which chances have been very few and very far between. We are just about ready to get things back underway here from Naples, Florida. 15 minutes away from downtown Naples at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex, and still all to play for these two clubs. It is a Naples side looking to avoid tumbling below Union Omaha on the final day of the league season, but they must get all 3 points in order to do so, given the way results are shaking out as things stand. Spokane, meanwhile, they know their goal. Win, and you have a top 4 finish secured. That is what they are shooting for at this stage. Ready to get things back underway. Spokane from right to left, Naples from left to right. This a pivotal 45 minutes in both teams' home field quarterfinal hopes. It will be Spokane that gets us going. We just await referee Rashawn Clark's signal. Had very little to manage in the first half. It may pop off here in the second. Back underway here from Naples, Florida. This a key inflection point for both these clubs in their quest for a top 4 finish. One major change already of note for Spokane velocity, Anwar Pelaez. The team's top scorer is now in the match. Got off to a red-hot start to the season before injuries had him sidelined for a good chunk of September. He is back as a halftime substitute once again here. Does appear he may have replaced Nico Brett, although we'll wait official word on that from the venue before we report it. For those that are joining us, we welcome you into the Paradise Coast. No score between Naples and Spokane. A combined XG of below 0.5 between these two teams in the first half. Naples at just 0.19, the bulk of which came from the chance that kissed the left post. Spokane with a 0.25 tally in those opening 45. That is a story of how this match has unfolded. Mostly played between the 18s with very little cutting edge in the final third. Here's Dangler. He produced the game's best chance to date. Reedy returned with a bang, scored that match winner as a halftime substitute against Charlotte. Wiedemann praising his directness, but maybe too direct for his own liking because he's offside here. That Charlotte match, a mind-boggling result for Spokane. Carlos Marancio setting a league record for single games, goals conceded below expected. In that contest, it was north of 3. It was a game where Spokane down a man for the bulk of the final hour. Marancio peppered in the process, made 9 saves, which was his season high, but managed to keep Charlotte at bay before Reedy's unlikely winner. That helped them stabilize from a 4-match winless stretch to close September. It's been 4 points from the last 2. Slight frustration from Lee Wiedemann surrounding the nature of that Tormenta draw, but against a Tormenta side that has been firing on all cylinders, it is a tough one there. The official substitution is Nico Brett off for Anwar Pelaez. A like-for-like change up top, presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee, more in Paradise. This is Reedy for Spokane. Waldeck, cross deflected, charged out of danger by Dangler. Falls nicely for Farine. These are the moments where he can turn on the afterburners. Instead, he picks out Glasser, who will do just that. Glasser, arcing cross toward the back post. Just knocked over by Cisneros. That much better, though, from Naples. This dangerous. First time we've really seen them engineer a free-flowing counterattack. The ball looked intended for Henderlong. Instead, fell decently for Cisneros, who just got underneath it. There are signs of life now from Naples going forward, and that's all you can ask for at this point of the fixture. Reedy now on the turn. Skips past Heckenberg. Has Pelaez with him. Substitute. Loses his footing. It is a beautiful night in Naples at the moment. Weather at kickoff was around 82 degrees. Right now, just 79 degrees. The humidity starting to dip off a little here in Southwest Florida. A very temperate evening for an October football match. Teams that travel down here next week and potentially beyond will probably enjoy the respite from the cold weather. Farine, not on the same wavelength as O'Connor. Well, fans, FC Naples has only one home game remaining in the regular season, and it is a massive one. Come to Paradise Coast Sports Complex next Saturday, October 25th, as they take on Charlotte Independence. Get your tickets now before they run out. That will be an interesting one. Charlotte, regardless of results tonight, knows they likely need a result to ensure that they are in the postseason come the start of November. It is a team that has struggled down the stretch, although with Madison slumping at the moment, may have more of a cushion than they would have bargained for. Madison, of course, if they win tonight, would leapfrog Charlotte to crack the playoff places. Solid interplay here. Cross is cut out at the source, though. Here towards Henderlong. Endured a rather quiet first half by his lofty standards. That is overzealous from Cisneros. Meredith. Vereen snatches this back and has room to roam. Flicks it back for Henderlong. This is Carson Henderlong, who draws a save out of Marancio. Rather routine in the end, but the first time he stings his palms tonight. Well, on another night, you may have fancied Henderlong to finish this. One of the top forwards in the competition. It is a crafty back heel. And you see Henderlong usher this onto his left, puts his laces through it, but can't quite pick out that far corner. It is, though, the first Anderson corner kick of the match for FC Naples. Trust your home to Anderson. They are one of the better set-piece squads in the league. Chris Heckenberg and Kevin O'Connor standing over it. Henderlong to the near post, falls for Cisneros. Cleared out to Heel. Maybe options the other way now for Spokane. Siobhan John Brown. Lewis. Charged out of trouble by Cisneros, only as far as John Brown. Appeals for handball, and they will come back to that as it struck Onan's arm. Sets up Spokane for a well-positioned set piece, which a number of different players could try their luck in theory. Take another peek at the Physicians Regional Healthcare System instant replay. No question here. Arm is in a somewhat unnatural position. It's definitely out. Knocks right off the funny bone. This is well within Louise Hill territory. Derek Waldeck is also lingering. Well, you do have to get this up and down rather quickly if you are Velocity. Likely favors the right boot of heel, although I think Delgado knows that with the way he's positioning himself. The left side of his goal is wide open if Waldeck can put one on frame. Waldeck takes, and it's right into the wall. Heel skips beyond Henderlong, now darting into the area. Torres first to it. Change being prepared now for Spokane. Jalen Chrysler is set to exit. A former all-league defender is out for Cameron Miller, who makes his first appearance since being sent off 34 minutes into that Charlotte match 2 weeks ago. Has been a regular in the heart of defense, though, throughout the bulk of this season for Spokane. And a rare substitute appearance here on 56 minutes. So Miller for Chrysler in a like-for-like swap. That substitution presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee Moore in Paradise. Miller, a 26-year-old who signed his first professional contract with Spokane last March after finishing his college career at Seattle University. Played for 3 different college programs. Rose from community college all the way to Seattle in the Division I ranks. And now a second-year professional that has been a mainstay in the heart of defense for Spokane Velocity this season. This sprayed wide. Numbers joining the attack for velocity. Dangerous ball towards Pelaez, who heads it well wide. Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Well, Pelaez back up to his feet. Still waiting to replicate the red-hot production with which he opened the year. 8 goals this season, but has not scored since late August. Part of that has been due to injury and also the increased workload for Nico Brett, who's been largely his understudy this year. As we approach the playoffs, I'm sure Lee Wiedemann would want nothing more than his top scorer to get back amongst the goals. With a potential home quarterfinal fixture beckoning in 2 weeks' time. We inch towards the hour mark. Still nothing to separate these two squads. Jake Dengler in the first half hitting the post. Henderlong stinging the palms of Marancio moments ago, but otherwise not much to write home about in the last 30 minutes and change. Spokane gaining confidence on it though. Reedy turns beyond Dengler. Now Waldeck. Meredith. Oprah. Space to cross. It's not a bad ball. It does run all the way through to Reedy. Waldeck. Meredith chips this through towards Waldeck, who stays onside. It's a flashing cross and is just knocked out of danger. Heckenberg there to cut out Oprah's cross. Now Spokane really starting to twist the screws. That last cross had plenty of venom, and it was right into the danger zone. Another long throw on the cards here for velocity. Right into the thicket, headed away by Evans. Run down by Andre Lewis now. Oprah. Onan. Glasser. Driving forward in plenty of space. And this is the counter-attacking opportunity Naples was waiting for. Farine. It's not an accurate cross. And it's not one Henderlong can chase either. You see Andres Farine's moments pop up in fits and starts. So young and talented. The pace he brings on the wings, the flair he's shown throughout these 60 minutes and change and throughout the season. Not preaching patience with him though. I said that scoring is the hardest thing to do in the game of football. And Farine does all the right things from a raw intangibles perspective. Defends well, has a high work rate, but there is an adaptation process for anyone who comes to a new country and joins the footballing fold. Of course, Andres Farine, product of the USL Caldas Academy system in Colombia. And in that system, he was one of the most athletic players, had those advantages over many of his counterparts. Has seen the level increase since making the move to the States. At that point himself saying even in the Premier League, players take a year to fully adjust. Farine has shown enough promising moments for them to feel very optimistic about his development through the end of this year and beyond. Just wonder if that he can put it all together ahead of this final stretch. Could go a long way to defining how Naples' season comes to a close. Henderlong turns wide, and this is Farine in space. Cuts it across, runs all the way to the back post. The effort just sails wide. Cisneros in a troublesome spot and wins the corner for Naples. Well, there is Farine at his very best. Lovely cross. If not for Cisneros' effort being deflected, it might be 1-0 to Naples. Corner kick presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. It is Kevin O'Connor who stands over it. Within swing. Back stick. This one knocked well over the bar by Dangler. Inside the final half hour. Here from Paradise Coast Sports Complex. For those that are just joining us, we welcome you into Naples, Florida. Sam Goldfarb taking you every step of the way this evening. A 0-0 scoreline between Naples and Spokane. The chances beginning to pop up both ways. And here is Henderlong, a man who can take them better than most. And he has one. Well, instead, the referee signals for a goal kick, so he has not won a corner. Labata 239 is displeased by that. Well, this stoppage gives us a chance to tell you that if you can't watch the match, you can turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Onan. Seen his influence pop up in fits and starts thus far. That's a lovely switch from Hackenberg, though. O'Connor. Farine. Late touches right into the path of Andre Lewis. Meredith. Farine. Naples breaking lines once again. This chip forward, just behind Torres, though he lost his footing. And another promising spell goes begging. Lewis now. Most space he's had in midfield all night. Reedy. Has Waldeck on the underlap. Luis Hill. Siobhan John Brown knocked away. Only as far as Oprah, though. Falls for Hill. Tried to turn it goalward and didn't have the angle on it required. Has had very few touches of the ball, Luis Hill. He's at his best when he can get on the ball and impact games. Naples doing well to take him out of it, but you see him manage to pick out the soft spot in this back line on occasion and ask questions. And again, his tired legs set in for a Naples side that doesn't necessarily have the deepest bench for a hosting squad at this point in the season. Maybe there are chances for him to exploit more open space as the final 25 minutes and change tick on. Here's Glasser, one of the more involved men in build-up thus far. Farine. Cisneros. Onan. Flips it in. It's flicked on. Farine somehow can't turn it in. Marancio making himself an obstacle at the 11th hour. And Farine is still down. What a jaw-dropping chance this was. So well worked. Cisneros back for Onan. This ball is brilliantly placed. The flick on header as well. And Farine is just unable to force it in the back of the net. Marancio doing enough to deny him at the source. Andres Farine is still down for Naples. Matt Pullen seems incensed that no penalty was called due to the heavy nature of the collision between Marancio and Farine.
At no cost to the patient. Visit NaplesCancerAdvisors.org to learn more.
He's aware that at this point in this type of fixture, one goal, one moment might win it. Well, he understands the importance of getting back in the win column. Of course, there are the aspirations of hosting a playoff match on this ground, and given the favorable position they've been in for the better part of the last month for that feat, it would be a slight letdown if they could not secure that. But he also understands that it's about playing their best football come 2 weeks' time. 3 weeks ago, nobody would dispute that that was the case. A 10-match unbeaten run in league play that took them comfortably inside the top 4. But as things stand, in grave danger of falling outside the top 4 into 5th if they cannot find a winner here this evening. He has engineered so much success in Naples' first season, be it the record-setting start in which they went 9 unbeaten in all comps to set the record for a first-year expansion club in USL League One. Did have a run in the mid-spring through late June, but they recovered well, and it looked like they were on their way to cruising to a potential top 2, top 3 finish. Two-thirds of the way through this one. That seems far more in doubt than it was 3 weeks ago. Luca Purpa is into the action, and that may spell the end of the match for Farine. And that it does. So it is Purpa for Farine. The substitution presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee Moore in Paradise. Purpa, someone who's capable of playing on the wings, but more dangerous as a centrally deployed player. Interesting to see if this coincides with a shift in shape. Henderlong is dispossessed by Waldeck. Well, hearing word that goals have been scored of consequence in both matches. Tormenta adding a second moments ago, as has Union Omaha. 2-0 lead now over Forward Madison in the bird battle, which would mean that Omaha sit level on points with Naples and above them on the wins tiebreaker, with just one match to play following this one for both clubs. Of course, Spokane could do Naples a colossal favor and topple Omaha on the final day. But right now, if both results were to hold, Naples would not have the inside track on a home field quarterfinal match. Since they've clinched the playoffs, has been the primary thing they're seeking. Glasser. Heckenberg. Onan. Chips this towards Purpa. Falls for Meredith. Spokane can't quite play out though. Cisneros. And now Henderlong forced wide. Has Garcia with him. Sounds for a throw. O'Connor, room to cross. It's not a bad ball, but the whistle sounds against Perpa for the tug on the shirt. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Inside the final 20 minutes from Naples, Florida. Still nothing separating FC Naples and Spokane Velocity in their second and final meeting of 2025 on the penultimate match day of the USL League One season. The race to the playoffs presented by Terminix in full effect here on the USL calendar, both in the Championship and League One. And still plenty to play for both of these sides, chasing home field advantage for the quarterfinals and potentially beyond. Both already locked up inside the postseason field. Onan. Flag stays down. First time ball. Perpa. Drills it wide towards Cisneros, who's not shy about getting forward. Tried to find someone at the back post that wasn't there. Labata 239 remains vocal and ardent. Here in Naples, they understand the stakes at play. Fortunate thing for Naples is their final match is at home, but they would ease a lot of concerns if they could find a way to secure 3 points here. Right now having issues breaking down the ironclad Spokane back line. A Velocity side that boasts the league's best defense with just 24 goals allowed. On paper, you can make the argument Spokane is the most complete side from top to bottom in the division. Many coaches have when you speak to them pre-match. Very complimentary of Velocity. Matt Pullen no different. Lewis. It's broken up by Glasser. Back for Lewis again. This arc's outside the reach of Reedy. This has been an interesting statistical disparity from week to week for FC Naples. Right now, they've out-created Spokane on expected goals by a .72 to .52 margin. The big chance for Farine probably accounts for a good chunk of that in the second half. Remember, it was just .19 for Naples entering the second half. But they've had a unique situation of vastly overperforming or underperforming their XG the past 3 weeks. That Westchester match probably about on par, but they created their highest single game expected goals tally in the 2-1 defeat at Omaha. Had numerous chances to not only level the match, but potentially win it after falling behind 2-0. Instead fell by a 2-1 scoreline despite creating over 3 expected goals. That's in comparison to the 4 they scored on this ground against AV Alta, in which they didn't even crack the 2 XG margin. Matt Pullen last week likening it to a ketchup bottle, saying sometimes you tap on the ketchup bottle and a ton of ketchup comes out. Other times you squeeze ferociously and you barely get any out. It was a unique analogy, but probably one of the more fitting ones to describe Naples' goal-scoring outputs the last few weeks. Heel. Another free kick for Spokane. You wonder how much more these coaches will go into their bag of tricks. Only one sub made, 2 subs for Spokane, 1 sub for Naples. There are numerous options for Naples should they want to chase this. Dominic Boxkeen scored his first professional goal a couple weeks back against Union Omaha. So Tyler Pasnick isn't a bad shout either. Waldeck sprays this in. Delgado off his line. Did just enough to get it away. Another arcing ball from Waldeck. This one a little more simple to deal with, although it falls to Reedy. Matched up with Glasser now. Meredith. Beyond Henderlong. Knotted out of trouble again. Heel. Spokane starting to ask questions. They have yet to put Delgado in a precarious position. Well, fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Bryce Meredith is down for Spokane. One of his longer outings. Remember, it's just his second league start of the season with Fernandez out. Maybe starting to feel the after effects of that heightened work rate. There are 2 changes being prepared for Spokane, one of which appears to be Masango Akale, who has been a welcome introduction to velocity sides that have sought more direct forward-thinking play. We've even been mentioning against Charlotte, he brought on Pierre Reedy and Akale at halftime for the expressed reason of being more direct and vertical in a match where they were down a man. Meanwhile, Ian Garrett is getting set to enter for FC Naples, as are 2 others. So Garrett for Onan struggled to find his footing consistently in this one. That the only official alteration as of now, presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee, more in Paradise. Meanwhile, Masango Akale for Spokane Velocity also stands at the touchline.
Also entering the game for Spokane Velocity, number 7, Masango Akale.
Akale's brother,
and number 19, Jack
has
Denton.
also played in League One. Has yet to score this season for Spokane. And in his second season with Velocity since joining in June of last year. Meanwhile, Meredith is also off for Jack Denton, who is back in the squad after a prolonged absence. So it is Akale for Siobhan John Brown, and it is Denton for Meredith. Both changes presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee, more in Paradise. Denton, an unused substitute the last 2 matches after returning from an absence as a second-half substitute in the Greenville game on September 27th. Native Englishman who was a star at Missouri State University a couple years back. Back-to-back Missouri Valley Conference Midfielder of the Year to close his tenure with Missouri State. So both teams now into their bag of tricks as we enter the final 10 minutes. Perpa. Glasser. As of now, Naples faces the danger of going back-to-back matches without a goal. That would make it 1 goal in 3 games entering decision day, which wouldn't exactly be a welcome sight, given they still have so much to play for in the way of postseason seeding and positioning. Spokane, the goals have not exactly been free-flowing, especially of late. Just 3 scored in the last 4 games as we spotlighted off the top, but defensively so sound. It's been the MO all year long for Lee Wiedemann's men. O'Connor. Is there late magic on the cards here from Naples? Or is the result already written? Glasser. Heckenberg. Out wide for O'Connor, and now receives it back. Cross deflected. Perpa doesn't quite reach Henderlong. And instead falls for Mark Torres. He navigates into a sea of white kits, and heel is away. Akale. Driven wide. Numbers in support now. Oprah. Siobhan John Brown continues his run. Glasser is there to clean up the loose change. Miller launches long. Doesn't reach Pierre Reedy, who goes down, and no whistle from the referee. Here where the Dominic Bockstein is set to enter. And it appears Naples will chase this. Understandably so. Haven't necessarily had the upper hand in this fixture by any means, but probably have created the two biggest chances of the match. Spokane, by contrast, more controlled, but very little trouble of note for Lalo Delgado to attend to. Dengler. Brilliant ball into the path of Glasser. Early cross. It's not a bad one at that. Rolls to Henderlong. Falls to the edge of the area. Torres clatters it off of a defender. Now out for Akale. Get the sense that both clubs might start throwing caution to the wind, especially the hosts. Reedy. It appears he's flopped flanks in the wake of Akale's introduction. We've even been mentioning that the versatility and his technical ability on the ball set him apart from many other wingers in this league. Now Akale. Denton. Waldeck. Denton charging forward, looking back for Waldeck. He gets there first. It's into a dangerous spot. Just about cleaned up. Anwar Pelaez and Jake Dengler having it coming together. The latter of which has appeared to come off worse for wear. Game of fine margins. You see Waldeck win the foot race with his pace. And as Dengler looks to clear it, just boot-to-boot contact, shin-to-shin contact perhaps, with Anwar Pelaez. That sets the stage for another change for Matt Pullen's men. We mentioned Dominic Bockstein, who scored his first professional goal 2 weeks ago in the attempted comeback at Union Omaha. He replaces Kevin O'Connor. That is a clearly attack-minded alteration. Bockstein, a proven goal scorer wherever he's gone. That substitution presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee, more in paradise. Well, fans, FC Naples has only one home game remaining in the regular season, and it is a massive one. Come out to Paradise Coast Sports Complex next Saturday, October 25th, as they take on Charlotte Independence. Get your tickets now before they run out. Dominic Bockstein is into the match. An out-and-out forward who has succeeded alongside Henderlong in a two-man front when they play together. Pelaez threads it through to Akale, back across, still loose, and it's in! Luis Hill breaking the deadlock in the dying embers. Spokane leads. They may have just stunned the Paradise Coast Sports Complex. Luis Hill, a veteran of the league, providing what may just be the devastating blow. Akale's cross looked like it had evaded everyone, but not dealt with by Cisneros, and Hill is there to pounce. The creative talisman there to potentially take all 3 points from Naples. Well, the captain, who has been the mastermind going forward all year long, with a 7th of the season in the 87th minute. It is a match in which Spokane has spent so much time struggling to unlock this Naples defense, and unlock it they have at the death. A 16-year veteran, Luis Hill, a captain, someone who logged 2 caps with UN's men's national team in 2014, has scored this goal presented by Hopsized to give Spokane a late lead and break the scoreless deadlock. I've already spoken ad nauseum about his decorated CV. 134 career appearances across 5 years with Real Salt Lake. As this is knocked into Boxstein. And Waldeck manages to just salvage a throw. Glasser loses it out of play. Well, what a last involvement this is about to be for Luis Hill, because he is now set to exit the action for Javier Martin.
Javier Martin Gil.
His final touch of the ball, perhaps the deciding blow. On 89 minutes, he manages to drive it in at the back stick after Cisneros struggles to clear. And it is the veteran who entered the day 3rd in the league in chances created, who exits to a stunned Paradise Coast Sports Complex. So Javier Martin in for Hill, that a defense-minded change. And now Naples forced to chase. Can Heckenberg or Garrett flip the script? As of now, Naples set to come up empty-handed at home. Well, it would take a better delivery than that, right into Andre Lewis's head. Garrett. Hearing word, it is 8 minutes of stoppage time presented by Tide Cleaners, as Henderlong knocks this across and falls into the waiting arms of Marancio.
Added time in the second half. Added time presented by Classic Diamond Plumbing.
On a night where Naples was looking the more likely to provide the decisive blow, they've been caught out by a Spokane squad that began to calibrate in the final 20 minutes. And after a well-worked move that ended with the ball at Luis Hill's feet, the visitors have jumped in front in the closing stages. That could prove very damaging to Naples' hopes of hosting a playoff match at home. Right now, a point below Union Omaha, who is in line to claim all 3. Also staring at a possible third consecutive defeat in the face and a fourth in the last 5. Still time for Naples to rescue something. They get another chance at a free kick, this time from the opposite flank. Garrett hooks it in. It's knocked along. A golden chance for Evans is skied. What a moment that could have been, but he couldn't get his feet over it. Sensational delivery. It deflected so nicely for Breck Evans, who's knocking it across his body, but underneath it too much. And that may be their golden chance to pull level. Boxstein. Glasser. Tracked step for step by Jack Denton. Reedy. As things currently stand, Spokane in line to grab yet another 1-0 victory in the closing stages. 2 weeks ago, 1-0 at Charlotte. In the 87th minute, Pierre Reedy, the goal scorer. This time, Luis Heel in line to do the honors in the very same minute, away at Naples. Spokane playing the role of road warriors in a series of must-win fixtures, and right now in line to clinch a top 4 finish. Chattanooga doing so last night. That would leave just one final spot up for grabs in the home playoff chase. Cisneros, far too tight on Marancio. Dangler. Midway through the added 8 minutes. Time rapidly waning on Naples now. Glasser crossing it in. It fell for Henderlong, who may have gotten a touch to it, but not one significant enough to trouble Marancio. Marancio will be in no rush to take this now. It's 3-0 in Omaha. They are in line to leapfrog Naples, barring a dramatic shift in the script. Meanwhile, Greenville's quest for a playoff berth may come to a close here. They're trailing 3-0 late against Tormenta, the hottest team in the league. Heckenberg in a shoving match now with Akale. Temper starting to boil over.
Yellow cards issued for both Spokane and for FC Naples. For Spokane,
both Heckenberg and Akale booked. The yellow card to Akale presented by the law offices of Markel Shapiro. Big enough to handle serious cases, small enough to care. Cisneros. Referee waves play on. It's Garrett's cross in that asks the questions. Boxstein running it down. And that he does. Dangler. Perpa has it knocked away. It will be a mad dash from here on out for Naples. Another ball forward. Flicked along by Dangler! And Boxstein just over. Well, it was always going to be tough to get his feet over that. But that another key chance. Lovely flick on right into the path of Boxstein. Just can't get his feet sorted. Inside the final 2 minutes of the added 8. It is in line to be a heartbreaking night for FC Naples on home soil. A 7-match home unbeaten run in all competitions is set to come to a close. And arguably the biggest fixture of the season. Akale. Lewis. Maybe a destination for the corner flag now. And that it is. Now inside the final minute of the added 8. It's now or never for Naples. Torres. Cisneros. Garrett. Looking for Henderlong, who's been isolated for large portions of the night. And Denton over the top. Reedy running it free. And the quest for an equalizer may go with a whimper. Beyond the added 8 minutes, maybe one late yellow card before all is out. And instead, the referee just gives a warning for time wasting. Reedy. Is there time for one final break forward for Naples? Cisneros. He's upended. And there may just be. No, there will not. The full-time whistle sounds. It is a hard-fought 3 points for Spokane Velocity as they travel from coast to coast and clinch a home playoff match in the quarterfinals. 1-0 victors, courtesy of Luis Gil's late dagger, as Spokane hands Naples their first defeat at Paradise Coast Sports Complex since early July. What a result for Lee Wiedemann's men, who have proven to be road warriors of late in USL League One. They have truly stabilized from a somewhat shaky spell of form and done just enough to topple the hosts here at home. Our man of the match, presented by Waste Management, is Lalo Delgado. He, the most involved of the Naples players, did well to hold down his goal for large periods of time, but unfortunately for him, his efforts came to nothing as Naples fell by a 1-0 scoreline. The play of the match, presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System, is arguably Naples' biggest chance of the match. This cross-in, very inviting. Dengler towering up to greet it on the cross from Glasser and just kissing it off of the last post. On a different night, maybe that goes and gives Naples the opener. And our save of the match, presented by Carter Fence, is this stop by Delgado. A diving reach to claw this away after Meredith got a slight touch to it, was looking for Nico Brett, but instead Lalo Delgado able to parry it out of trouble. We're at the end of 90 minutes. It is a frustrating night for FC Naples. They drop a valuable 3 points at home as Spokane Velocity locks up a top 4 finish in a home playoff match here in USL League One. We'll step aside when we return and look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired after a cagey match here from Naples. Stick with us. We'll be right back in a matter of moments. Once again to the near post, and it's Henderlong again. He is a set-piece madman.
Here on Florida's Paradise Coast, you can play your way. Whether you prefer an action-packed court, a leisurely round of golf, or the thrill of watching a professional soccer match, your only challenge is finding a way to do it all. So visit a luxurious playground that scores big for everything from its award-winning beaches to its incredible restaurants. Because when you want a vacation where all is perfect, only Paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades.
We welcome you back to Paradise Coast Sports Complex. We're at full time, presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Spokane triumphs in Naples. 1-0 victors to hand Naples their first home defeat since the 4th of July. What a devastating night it was for a Naples side looking to keep pace in the top 4 chase. They end the evening instead outside the top 4. And let's see how it all unfolded here from Naples, Florida. Chances few and far between in this one. Both clubs finishing with an XG below a goal as you get a look at the full-time highlights presented by the Maxwell Mortgage Team, financing the world one loan at a time. There was a big chance for Naples in the late stages of the first half. You see Jake Dangler rise like a salmon, but he's unable to find that bottom left corner. Inches from opening the scoring were Naples, and then they had chances in the second half as well. It was a largely quiet night for Carson Henderlong. This, though, his biggest chance of the night. You see him usher this on to his right foot after the giveaway, and he nearly is able to sting Tess Marancio and pick out the far corner. He just doesn't quite get it right, and in the end, a relatively routine diving stop for the Spokane goalkeeper. And then as the half wore on, you saw Naples continue to push on. Chance after chance, half chance after half chance, it should be said, to potentially nudge themselves in front, but it was the devastating last-ditch effort from Luis Gil which made the difference on 87 minutes. Here's your look at the final blow. Naples continuing to possess it and chase it. Instead, Anwar Pelaez winning it back. And then after Masango Akale's cross evaded everyone, it's not dealt with properly by Cisneros. And who's there but Luis Gil to greet it? A 7th goal of the season to steal all 3 points for Spokane. And let's see how that influences our standings presented by WM. Here is the impact. Spokane has now locked up a home playoff match for the quarterfinals and kept its chase for the Players' Shield on. Meanwhile, FC Naples dropping outside the top 4 after Union Omaha toppled Forward Madison at the same time tonight. So when you look at the table as things stand entering the final day, FC Naples with work to do if they hope to host a match on home soil in 2 weeks' time. An impactful day in USL League One as you get a look at our full-time stats presented by Arthrex. Does an injury have you benched? Explore orthopedic treatment options at orthopedia.com, powered by Arthrex. Naples 50-50 possession-wise, more shots and more shots on goal, but the stat that matters is the one shot on goal was clinical from Spokane. It was Luis Gil's finish in the 86th minute that provided Spokane with all 3 points. Ultimately, while Spokane didn't have the better of a lot of the numbers, they had the better of the 1-0 scoreline, and that is the primary difference maker in the league. Well, that is where things finish here from Naples. A difficult night for the home faithful as they watch their side suffer a critical home defeat on the penultimate match day. It finishes with Spokane as 1-0 victors, courtesy of Luis Gil's late winner. For our terrific crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from the Paradise Coast, where it finishes Naples 0, Spokane 1. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.